I don't know if Saturday was exactly more dramatic than Friday, but it certainly felt like that for one guy here. James Sharp and Craig Forrest, Jim Brennan.
Rubbing it in.
Basil Camise here with you. Another wonderful day of quarterfinal play at the World Cup that saw France and Morocco ultimately find their way through. Morocco, first African side in the semifinal, 1-0 over Portugal, and France barely 2-1 over England. Harry Kane missing a penalty late that would have sent the game to extra time. We'll get to that game in a second. We'll start with the first one, Morocco. Jim Brennan, you said it. You didn't have to give a reason because why would you? You just said, I think Morocco will win. And that was enough for you to get to go first.
That was it. Because every time I went into detail with every single other game, I lost. So this one I just said, that's it, Morocco's winning.
How great is it?
It's amazing. What a story it is. So it's a team right now that have so much confidence. They're enjoying their football. They're so fun to watch. But I think they've got their hands full in this next match.
And I think too, with the African team first time ever in the semifinals, it's also good for African football for the numbers, because we know it's going to expand to 48 teams, the World Cup, but that means they could actually get more, and CONCACAF could potentially get less, and that should be right. So they could maybe get 8 to 10 teams from Africa. And I know there's been a real shortage of the amount of African teams going in the World Cup, but that should solve the problem. So they're doing it for all Africa, not just for their own country.
Sure, but there are people that will say, oh, their style is so negative, they sit back and counter. I disagree.
What else would you do, though?
Exactly.
And they're one of those teams that, they do play in that mid to deep block, but they're fun while they do it, right? Their counter is so dynamic. It's a great story. Their coach, Ragugi, he's been there for 8 games, right? 8 games. He hasn't lost yet. They've given up 1 goal in this World Cup, an own goal to Canada. I mean, talk about a team of destiny.
The players
right
are still
now.
getting to know him.
Well, maybe he hasn't at this point lost the room because
they've thrown him in the sky enough now. They get to know some of those parts.
It's an amazing story.
It is an unbelievable story. On the other side, France versus England, just an unbelievable game altogether. And James, it's hard to argue that England didn't deserve to be on the right side of that result, but this is just what happens. And Harry Kane, you expect him to even that up. And
I mean, listen, he scored the first penalty. Of course, he takes the second penalty, and listen, just imagine the pressure on him at that point. You're down 2-1. There's 5-6 minutes left in the match. Enormous pressure, and he skies it over the bar. Your heart breaks for him. I thought England played really well in that game, in the second half in particular. But these are the world champions, right? They're France. They were good as well. They sat pretty deep themselves. They welcomed England's pressure. There weren't that many great chances for England, in fairness. They defended them pretty well. Lloris was great, I thought. So, I mean, listen, it's a frustrating loss for England fans. It's a really frustrating loss for England fans.
But they didn't lose on penalties, but they kind of did.
Yeah, I mean, there should have been 1 called in the first half, which wasn't given as well. But hey, now I'm
the referee wasn't exactly.
Well, he can only give out so many shots.
I don't think the referee will be seen again in this tournament.
No.
It's not like yellow cards in Argentina, Netherlands, right? You can't just throw them away.
That's right.
You think France are the favorites?
For the World Cup now?
Yeah, like with the 4 teams left, you think they have the best chance? It's hard to look. Guess at your own peril, right? We said that, right?
No, for Euro.
Well, yeah, exactly. They have the talent to do it.
Yeah.
They've been there before. They could win back-to-back. Nobody's done that for, 60-odd years or something. So, them in Argentina, I would say. But it's difficult. I mean, you're a brave man if you can guess who's going to win this tournament.
Well, all the injuries they've had, right? They've got 4 or 5 world-class players who would start for pretty much every other team in the world, not even playing at this World Cup. And they still find a way to get to the semi-finals once again. It's very impressive.
We need a couple days off after the games we just had on Friday and Saturday, so we'll do exactly that. We'll reconvene for the semi-final at the World Cup.
Off from each other, right?
Yeah.
Especially you.